Welcome to episode 35 of Ring Talk, the weekly Goodwin boxing show with myself, Martin Theobald, and with Steve Goodwin. We've got a whole host of questions that have been sent through today, so we're going to try and split the show out into a bit of review from Saturday, some upcoming bits, and then we'll try and run through each of these. So apologies if I miss any out in advance, because I'm quite good at that. So we'll start off from Saturday night down at York Hall. A busy show, lots of talent on display.
Yeah, I think the most impressive was Martin Foru.
Yes,
one round destruction of Attila Tibor-Nagy. The thing with Nagy, if you're a real star, you do get rid of him.
Yeah.
And he's obviously a star in the making.
Yeah.
I think he was exceptional.
I was exchanging messages with Daly Perales, his coach, and Daly was just saying about how important it is for somebody up and coming to sell themselves to others within the sport, promoters or fans or whoever, and actually bombing people out. And that's what Martin did. But he did it smartly. He didn't just go rushing in, which a lot of people on their debut, if you've got someone hurt, will rush. Yeah. He did it intelligently.
No, he was very good. I think he was. There's a lot to like about him, and we just develop his backing and fan base, and I think he'll be a future television star.
But he could be a big star because he's. I don't know how many tickets he sold, but there were a lot of people there supporting him. He's clearly got talent, and he's a decent-looking bloke. Yeah. Those three things can be marketed particularly well.
So no, I think he's definitely got it. So delighted with him. Running through the rest of them, Adrian Martin was probably in fight of the night.
He was getting caught, wasn't he, Adrian? Showed his chin off.
The funny thing was, at the end of the fight, went over to his trainer, and I said to Joey Taylor, I said, "Have you got this?" He said, "We won every round." And I looked at him. I said,
"Not convinced."
No. And he said, What have you got?" I said, "It's a lot closer than that." And it was really weird that both Adrian thought he'd won every round as well. And in my opinion, he hadn't won every round. I think it was Adrian started slow. I think he lost the first two rounds, and then I think he nicked it in the end by outworking him. If it had been longer, I think he may have stopped him. But it was a really, really good learning fight for Adrian. You know, if we're moving him towards title contention, he's got to have fights like that.
Yeah.
So I was really happy with him in the end, because I think he'll learn a lot from that fight. And I think that was really important. William Webber, delighted to see William come back, have another win again.
He's such fun to watch, William.
Great, isn't he?
I was having this conversation with a few people at ringside. I'm not convinced he's going to go on and become a world champion, but very few boxers do. But I think he can go far. And I think he'll have a lot of fun, and fans will have a lot of fun following that journey.
I think remember, he's only 19.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think he'll end up. I think he'll end up winning the British title easily.
Agreed.
And I think at the right time. Look, he's only 19, but we're going to develop him and develop him and develop him. His dad's brilliant to work with, Paul, and I think he can definitely get the British title level.
And whoever made that 666 banner at York Hall, that's brilliant,
good, wasn't it?
Really
brilliant
like
banner.
that.
Brilliant banner. Linus Udofia looked excellent in his second round win over Alexandrov, and hopefully our friend Taylin Jones doesn't get too scared by that, and the contract for the fight gets signed. So watch this.
So there is a contract out for that fight.
What's happened, we've agreed financial terms for the fight. It's all been agreed by all Taylin Jones's team, but we still haven't had it signed back yet. So hopefully by the time this goes out, we'll have a contract. If we don't have a contract, it's only because he decided he doesn't want it. But hopefully he's going to stay. I've always felt with Tay, he's a fighting man.
He is.
And he fights anybody. And I hope that it doesn't change now when his team and everybody around has agreed. With contracts have been signed, sent from this end, money's all been agreed, everything's agreed. We're just waiting on the signatures to come back. So hopefully by the time this goes out, it may be that contract's been done.
And he's a really nice lad, Tay, as well. Like, a fighting man. You know, he's had really hard sparring sessions from what you hear the stories of. Fights anyone. His old man looks after his career, doesn't he? Or has done as part of the team. So hopefully that all gets made.
Well, what concerned me was, do you remember we discussed last week about the Taylor Jones Felix Cash fight that I said was just a false fight?
Yeah. I
was right, it wasn't real. And that was actually officially told to the board that fight was done, and I knew that was just not real.
Yeah.
And but hopefully now we're going to get to the stage where he's either got to fight now or vacate, and hopefully he's going to do the fight.
That's just a great fight. Two young, talented lads.
Yeah, and the loser can come again.
Yeah.
But it's time. But it's a great fight for the public, a great fight for the sport. probably one of the fights that I will look forward to, that I will watch
Agreed.
this year most. And I just hope that he signs. But I know Leeton wants it, who looks after the MTK boys in London. They all wanted it at MTK. So we're just ready to go.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. AD Burden, I always say the truth, it was not his greatest night.
He knows that as well. I spoke with AD afterwards.
So, you know, he needs to learn from that. But then, as I've said before with AD, he didn't have the amateur, so he's going to learn on the job. He needs much more time than other fighters who are at the same amount of wins in the professional game. John Harding made his first fight since the sign of Goodwin boxing, his first stoppage.
Yeah.
So delighted to see that, and Leon McKenzie's first corner.
Leon was delighted. Did you see him? He was. Yeah, he was as happy as John, I think.
Yeah. So it was fantastic for both of them. They're both nice guys, and Leon, I've got a lot of time for Leon, and I'm delighted with that. Sam Gilley of Rod Julian's, he won on points against William Warburton. Angelo Bevilaqua is another great fighter to watch.
He's mad.
Mad?
Like, what was the bit where he was like mid-round and he just started like ducking down and just bobbing around in the middle of the ring?
Tony Pilly's trainer loves him. They've got a really great bonding and a great relationship. And you know, we'll develop Angelo. You know, he's going to be. We're going to move him forward to Southern area, and hopefully he'll do that in about 12
I know
months.
Tony rates him very highly.
He does.
With Tony before it all started.
Prince Brady suffered a knockout loss.
Yeah.
He needs. You can't turn up to a show without a trainer. Because he'd always told me that Daley Prowlers was his trainer. Turns up and asked Daley to do his corner, and Daley said, "I've never trained him."
Okay. I didn't. I'd left by this point.
So
didn't
Daley was cornering him and said, "I'm not his coach."
Right.
It was very bizarre, and he came in like a lunatic and got chinned. He's obviously got talent, but his
ethos.
Yeah, is not there. ID Hill of Alec Wilkey's.
Such good fun.
Yeah. Nice kid as well. Met for the first time. Nice kid, and Alec's a great guy to work with. We as you probably realise, we only work with certain managers on our shows. We will not have anybody on the home side.
Yeah, so you work with Rod Julian, you work with Mickey and Moo,
and Alec
Wilkey.
And I think that's it. I think that's it, and we're quite happy with that setup.
ID Hill doesn't need titles for fights. He doesn't need any of that. He just has fun fights. But I mean, I was there when he fought Sanjeev Sahota for the Southern area. I thought he won that fight personally.
So did I watched that.
But I just enjoy watching him. He's in good fights, and whether that's because he boxes up or boxes down to the level of his opponent is almost irrelevant. He just
has entertaining fights. Yeah. Glad to see Eric Mokonzo. I thought he was really impressive, Eric, in the home corner. He really done a good job. Josh Burnham, let me say about Josh Burnham now. He's a young coach who I believe is going places. Same as Tony Pill. They're excellent coaches. And they are two, along with Xavier Miller, of the future stars of coaching in the country.
They're two that are coming up under Don Charles as well, aren't they? And getting that guidance off of somebody who's been there and done it and handled problems, handled talent, handled everything you could ask for.
They've seen it all. They've seen it all in that gym. And it's really great, but they're definitely going to make it as trainers.
I was impressed by Eric and delighted for him because it's
Mark Little won again. He's still got a way to go. I think.
I thought it was one of his more composed performances. So
he did. Yeah,
it was less exciting, more composed, more of an adult performance.
Yeah, but he again. We've all got to remember with Mark. He's not had the amateur experience.
Yeah, he's from the unlicensed.
Yeah, so we really have taken him from there. Paul Cook's doing a great job with him. But we just need to continue to develop. I'm not sure it's the time to press the button yet. But he's gonna, he will be a champion. But it's not pressing the button too soon.
Well, there was a question from Jamie Mark actually.
Should we do that afterwards, or just?
Oh, once we're on it.
Okay.
How long before Mark Little gets a title shot?
Well, there we go. We can answer that. I think it's something we'll discuss as a team. It's not imminent. It's not in his next fight.
It's a busy division as well, cruiserweight, isn't it?
There's a lot of kids in there. You've got Chris William-Smith, Richard Ricapore, you've got Dion Juma fighting Jose Lopez, you've got Ozzy Gervais fighting Danny Cousins in a final eliminator.
There's a lot of traffic around there.
There's a lot of traffic around there, and Mark's developing. So you're going to go in with a lot more experienced kids in him if you throw him in now. He's 30 years of age, but there's no mad rush to do it in the next.
In 12 months' time, a lot of those names will have moved to a different level,
and he should be there then, ready to take up to start picking up the division. So that's sort of my gut feeling with him. Sammy Cantwell and Jack Hughes both at the same weight. They made the interesting comparison. Sammy Cantwell I thought looked superb.
So did I.
I thought he looked excellent in his knockout win. Jack Hughes, again, very little experience before he's turned pro. Again, he's done very well. But in that division, they could well be on a collision course at some point.
Yeah, I thought Jack looked really good actually. I thought it was probably the best performance I've seen off Jack.
But he's improving all the time. Brian
is doing a brilliant job.
And and I thought they both look really, really good. And I think but again, they could well.
It's a limited talent pool at those weights, isn't it? So inevitably, at some point, I guess they're gonna
focus. There's only about 15 in the whole division in the country, and Chris Davies moved up to 8 rounds and recorded a solid win. So that was a summary of the week. 2 bits of news. One, Dan Zaxo fights on the Joshua Povetkin card.
Yeah, it's just come out of left field, isn't it?
We've been working on it for a while, but it was important to try and ensure that the whole thing was set up right and we had the right opponent and everything like that. Because again, Dana has not got much experience before he's turned pro. He's only had 2 fights, so we need to make sure that it was the right.
But he's brilliant, Dan Zaxo. Like, just such fun to watch. If you've never seen him, he's either going to knock you out or he's getting knocked out. Now, I've no idea what Dana's chin's like, but I know his background, so I'd imagine it's pretty stable.
I think his chin's quite good.
Yeah. I've got no doubt that his chin's going to stand up to some, and he just wallops, like thumps people.
So if you're at Wembley Saturday and he's afloat about, and all of a sudden he appears in between one of the other major fights, then I'd say and watch him, because it won't be a boring home fight against journeyman fight, that for sure. It'd be well worth watching.
Yeah. I said the time that I've watched him, he doesn't really give a shit. Like, he just gets in and it's a fight. Great fun to watch.
That's brilliant news. So that's it. And the other news this week, signing of our 3rd female.
Yeah.
Anelle Massey. Dan Woodgate, who I had a lot of respect for as a fighter, is now her coach. I think he's going to make into an excellent coach. And I've really started to enjoy managing females. I think it's a way of moving people into titles and giving people opportunities. And I really enjoy I'm really enjoying the managing of female boxers.
Yeah, she's got a good background, doesn't she, Anelle?
28 solid amateur bouts. And we'll develop her through the pro ranks. So I'm really excited about managing her. She's a lovely person, and alongside Sam Smith and Nicola Adams, that's our 3 females.
Yeah, there's a question from my friend Terry, the 7 Wolves Boxing on Twitter. Are you looking at any more female 60-kilogram boxers? You're close to cornering the market with the great signing of Anelle Massey, and you also have Sam Smith.
Do you know what's really weird? A lot of managers go out, what they do is they run round to shows and gyms and try and tap up boxers to sign with them. And that's what they spend their time doing. They try and get the boxers to sign with them without the boxers sitting and making their own minds up, and some of those boxers may regret that. We don't do that. We let everybody come to us. It's what I've done in my business life. I've never touted or chased anybody. So when you say I'm looking, who knows who's going to knock on the door next?
Sam came via Terry, I think, didn't she? So he was the conduit there.
And then they'll come through down. Nicola Adams came because she thought I'd do a good job for her. So you never know who's going to knock on the door next. So if another female lightweight wants to knock on my door and she's the right type of person and blah blah blah.
So the door's open.
Door's always open. Yeah, door's always open.
Yeah.
We don't sign everybody. There are a lot of things about what we do here that because we have so many boxes, we sign everybody. It's actually not true. We turn away quite a few people who don't fit the bill, but the ones we sign, if we think they've got talent, they've got the right work ethic, and they're a decent human being, we sign them.
Yeah. I'm not going to touch on upcoming shows, future shows yet, because there's a question actually from certain Ramez Mahmood about it.
Oh, okay.
So we'll touch on that then. Before we move on to questions, Triple G Canelo, did you watch it?
To be honest, I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
I haven't watched it yet. I mean, I started to watch it the other day upstairs. I watched about 3 rounds of it, but I haven't watched it properly.
Yeah. It was a fantastic fight. Yeah.
Did you?
I had a draw. Scored it 114, 114.
So yeah, you can't argue about that. Although I think it's bad for boxing Canelo one because he's just a drugs cheat. He should be.
No, I agree.
Boxing. I just think it's disgusting. I didn't even pay for it because I didn't want to give Canelo any money, no matter if it was 20p. So I just would not put money into a fight where somebody's a scumbag and a cheat.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Right, so we'll move on to the questions. We'll start off. I've had to group these because we've got so many. So we'll start off from Saturday. LPC1231 on Twitter, who says, nothing to ask, but please say thank you for putting on the show Saturday.
Well, Joshua put it on. I was there helping, but yeah. But I'm glad he enjoyed it.
Yeah, so I know that was his first live show.
Oh, was it? And he obviously enjoyed it, so that's brilliant.
Yeah, and actually his ticket came by somebody else who, if you're watching that somebody else, you know you are, did a fantastic gesture for him.
Oh, that's nice.
Which, yeah, I know the details of it, but we'll keep names anonymous, but lovely gesture that made you think people that watch boxing are brilliant sometimes. Yeah, like really nice thing, like a little community. Joe, AD's mother-in-law.
Okay.
I'd like to ask Steve when AD will be fighting for titles.
Not in the near future.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, Saturday night showed that there's a lot to learn. I think AD would probably be the first to say that.
He's not even on my top 25 boxers that I have that I would say are moving in. The next ones are going for titles.
Yeah.
No disrespect to him because his time's going to come, but his time is not now.
And he's still a young man. And
23 years of age, and he's learning his job. And he's a fantastic guy. I really like him. He's got a lovely family. But this is the whole point. Titles should not even be mentioned at this moment in time.
And I know that isn't meant disrespectfully, because I know that he's your pet project.
Yeah, you know that.
You want to build, like a Lego house. It's brick by brick, doing it properly, rather than rushing to try and do a roof without sorting the rest.
You know that. I love AD, but I'm being real.
Yeah.
I'm being real. If I put him into a title fight now, it would be shockingly bad management from my point of view.
Yeah. So moving on, kind of more general ones. Paul Altai, who was also there Saturday night.
I saw Paul briefly, yeah.
With any of his fighters who go overboard on social media with their own expectations, is there a point that Steve advises them to tone it down?
Yes.
I won't quote the hashtag that Paul's used, because I think it's a little bit unfair on the person in question. But
okay, I often. Not often, but if a boxer puts something out that he shouldn't do, or does something that they shouldn't do, I'm the first to get on the phone or text and say, get that down.
Right.
We watch our boxers' social medias.
So, I mean, even those that perhaps have ideas above their stations, or do you encourage them to have that confidence?
They can have certain things are fine, but if they do something that's going across the line, we'll get that pulled down.
Yeah. Craig from Fight Talk. Hope you're enjoying Scotland, Craig. Steve has been known. It's quite an interesting question. This Steve has been known to keep fights for Southern area titles in house if possible. Cruiserweight's an example. Is this something that he does consciously? We'll break this up into different bits in a minute. Does it limit matchmaking options? Has it caused issues with the defending champions?
It's a fallacy, that.
There you go, Craig.
It's a fallacy, but I can understand why he may feel that. But I'll say one thing. Isaac Chamberlain against Waddy Camacho.
Yep.
Waddy was Southern Area champion. We received an offer to fight Isaac Chamberlain in a fight that we thought we could...
And that wasn't a mandatory, was it?
No, it was voluntary. So we took that fight. If you then look subsequently to that, I tried to make a fight with Robin Dupre, Mickey Elliott's fighter. They didn't want it. So it's actually not true. The fact was that Mickey Elliott said he didn't want any of his fighters to fight Waddy Camacho except for personal reasons, so we couldn't make that fight.
Yeah.
So then Waddy then has to, if you then look through the cruiserweight division, there wasn't anybody there to fight Waddy, because the ones that could fight him, Isaac had, and if you also remember Craig, we got Waddy mandatory for Isaac again. We wanted to fight Isaac again.
Yeah.
So that's actually not true. It's actually totally not true. Jamali Camiro is fighting Jeffrey Ofori.
Yep.
In a voluntary.
Great fight.
But he's not. Jamali Camiro is not my. Jeffrey Ofori is not my fighter.
Yeah.
So it's actually totally and utterly wrong.
Yeah. Fair enough. He did put.
So that's why it's wrong. So yeah, but it's not.
To clarify it.
Do you know how many people say that to me? No, but it's actually not borne out by reality, because you can't find somebody that we could have fought that we didn't.
Yeah. He said, and by issues, I mean, has a champion been paired with an in-house fight on a Goodwin show where he may have had the opportunity to defend on a larger show with higher exposure?
Isaac Chamberlain, Waddy Camacho. The only time we've been offered.
Yeah.
a fight, the right fight. So it hasn't happened. We'll always take the right fight, but again, we can only do what we can do in which division. And in the cruiserweights, there just have not been many cruiserweights that have come up and made an offer. So.
He did put at the bottom, love you, Steve.
No, he's great.
So,
but I'm just saying, what he's saying, if I was him, I'd ask, I think it's a really good question.
I know, I agree.
Because, I mean, it's a brilliant question, and I would ask the same question. And I can see why people would think that, but I'm glad we've been able to answer it, because it isn't actually true. Because I could have done Jamani Camiro against other lightweights in our division, Liam Dillon, people like that, Bradley Smith.
Yeah.
But no, we fought Jeffrey Ofori, because it's a great fight for... Jeffrey Ofori's on that, but it makes a great fight. Jamani wanted to take that fight. So we could have made an in-house fight, but we've chosen not to.
Yeah.
So it's not actually true.
Is it about Isaac? It just reminded me, I saw Isaac on Saturday and I had a
Yeah.
chat with him for a bit. It's such a fascinating place, York Hall, because it's so compact. You see him bump into people. Like, I know Isaac anyway, but faces that, for fans that are there, they'll see people that they probably don't anticipate they're going to see.
Yeah, I agree.
Like faces they see on TV fighting and things like that. Such a small place that I'm not to sound stupid about it, I'm used to seeing some of them around. But if it was your first trip there, you go,
great.
oh God, that's him, that's him.
It's brilliant.
It's fascinating
No,
to
I
see.
agree.
And I still get that sometimes. I'm like, oh yes.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. It is great. It's a great place for boxing.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was on a.
Anyway, Craig, thanks for the question. Appreciate it.
Daniel Smith. Who does Steve fancy to win? Gary Corcoran and Johnny Garton for the British welterweight title.
Hard fight to call.
I know it is. I'm going to go Johnny. I know Johnny's your ex-fighter, but I have a lot of time for Johnny. Really
So do I. No, he's really.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean it like you've fallen out with him.
No, all that basically happened with Johnny. He come to the end of he come towards the end of his contract, and at that particular moment in time, he was told that he would get a lot of fights if he did certain things. And I said to him, if you think that's going to happen and that's better for you, then go and do it. As it happens, that hasn't really happened because he'd have got this chance anyway. But I've got no problem with Johnny Garton. He's a top man. I really like him.
Yeah.
And if I see him, I'll have a drink with him tomorrow. And to be honest, he spoke to me on my birthday. He wished me happy birthday. Sent me a text, wished me happy birthday. And we still got on great. I hope Johnny wins. Really hope Johnny wins. I think it's a really hard fight. He may have caught Gary Corcoran on the way down. I just think it's a brilliant fight, and I think credit to Warren, the Warrens and Queensbury for putting that fight. It's a great fight.
Yeah. And Johnny's missus is an Irish dancing teacher, as is my wife.
Oh, is
so every
she?
time I chat with him, we end up like stood in boxing halls chatting about Irish dancing. It's
That's
tragic.
brilliant. That's brilliant.
But to be fair to Frank Warren, that is a brilliant card they're putting together at the Brentwood Centre with Garton Corcoran, Umar Sadiq, Zach Chelly. Two lads, both 4-0, I think.
They're not fighting for anything other than just each other.
Yeah, and like I know there's no bad blood between the two of them, but there is bragging rights. Two lads, I think they're both 4-0. I might be wrong.
3-0 Umar.
3-0 and 4-0.
But you see, the thing with Umar, he's not been busy enough, so they've got to. I think what they're doing is they're just going to throw them in and see who's worth.
It's a flushing process.
Flush out the ones that aren't good enough.
Yeah, I mean, Matchroom are doing it to some extent, aren't they?
That's becoming a lot more common now.
Yeah,
they're just thinking, well, we're only going to push the ones that are in it. You know, we might as well find out earlier.
You know, Jake Ball, Craig Richards on the Matchroom
That's
show.
what they're doing. They're deciding which one to move on with.
Yeah, and good luck to them. And it just improves things for the fans. I'd far rather see that than see Zach Chelly against a journeyman and Umar Sadiq against a journeyman. Brilliant. Like, get them both in there. Both very talented amateurs.
And the thing is, I think very much so with TV promoters, because you're getting money without having to sell tickets to fighters.
Yeah.
They're getting paid purses, so they've got to answer the questions whether they're worthy more. Off TV, it's slightly different because you're trying to build them into TV fights. It's a different process. Yeah. But but
also, I mean, they're lads that have got huge backgrounds. You know, Umar nearly made it to the Olympics in Nigeria, and Zach had plenty of amateur experience. And they're not having to learn on the job like some of the younger lads that you get.
No, it's a great fight.
It's a great fight. It's a good card, that. Speaking of Bradley Skeet, actually we didn't, but the reason Johnny Garton's been held up fighting for the British is because Bradley Skeet held it, and their gym mates at iBox. So, speaking of him, I know it's hard to answer, but what do you think would be next for Bradley Skeet? It's from Oliver McManus. Feels like he's been left behind since Frank signed with BT.
That's a question for his manager, Andy Ayling.
I'd kind of disagree with that, though, because he fought for the European, didn't he? Out against the geezer with the little rat tail out in Spain, in Bilbao.
But it's really hard for me, because he's managed by Andy Ayling, promoted by Queensbury. a question like that really isn't right for me to answer that. Whether I have a view on that one way or the other, it's not really right. I don't feel that's appropriate for me.
Yeah, fair enough. Scott B, I'm not sure what his name is. Ask Steve, would he be willing to go to work with MTK to get on Box Nation, or is that a no-go due to MTK deal rights with Box Nation?
I have no idea what the deal rights are with Box Nation. Well, I think I know. That isn't on the agenda. It's not an option. They've done what they've done to get that. For me, we would be looking for something slightly different in a TV platform going forward. So good luck to them whilst they're doing it. And you know, boxing for fans is great and everything else, but it's not something that's on our.
Fair enough. Paul Oldtie with another one. What would you say is your proudest achievement so far in boxing? I know what the answer is going to be to this. I'm going to preempt it.
Go on then.
Jumani Camiro getting the Southern area.
Sounds crazy, doesn't it? And also, I think that there's a few for different things. I was proud of that because we took a kid that's got no real background and got him to become a champion.
Early in his career as well.
Early in his career. So I thought that was really, I was really proud that night. I was also really proud that the night Frank Buglioni won a British title, that I was able to get him into that position and he won the British title. So that was fantastic.
And the manner of which he did it.
And the manner of which he did it. So that was great as well. There have been many other champions and things, but if you say those two were a little bit special because it was my first British champion that we created from, that he came to me and I was able to basically get him in a mandatory position, and Jumani Camiro for turning somebody who was a real novice into a champion. They are two. There's going to be a lot more coming, but they would probably be my two standouts.
Another question from the Seven Walls Boxing. Do you see MTK as competition? If so, what do you think is their end game? I mean, they're clearly going to be competition, aren't they? If
everybody that is out there either promoting or managing or technically competing for the same boxers, and the same thing. Obviously, with MTK, they have got substantially more money than everybody else. So, so that's it. So, what's their end game? World domination, probably. So, are they competition? Do I consider, you know, as a manager, do I consider myself to be a superb manager of boxers? Yes, I do. So that's where I sit, and that's where we hang out.
That's your USP.
Yeah, I think I think my track record of getting fighters to titles and winning titles is second to none out there. So that's what I do. The fact they're doing what they're doing, that's great for boxing if they're pumping money into boxing. But you know, you got to remember there's a managerial and a promotional bit here. As a manager, I think I think what I've done, with whom I've done it, stands out massively.
Yeah.
So you know, whether a boxer feels that they'd be better managed by me or by the person who's managing MTK, I think it's Johnny Roy up in Preston. If you know, I think that's something that each boxer individually has to make that decision on.
Yep. Questions from Sam O'Reilly at Fight Talk. Can I get a rendition of Happy Birthday from Steve?
What, was it his birthday?
It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Sam.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Can
Happy birthday, Sam O'Reilly. Happy birthday to you.
There you go. I didn't think that was coming. And also, if Billy Bird wins the English title on Friday,
yes,
and the £154 Southern Area title becomes vacant,
yes,
who of your fighters would you say is closest to competing for it?
Sean Robinson, Dean Richardson.
Sean's an interesting one, actually.
Yeah. Adrian Martin, possibly, but I think Adrian's really a welterweight. So I would say the two that stand out, Sean Robinson and Dean Richardson.
Yeah.
At this stage.
Dean would have sprung to mind. I hadn't thought of Sean.
Sean is one of the most improved fighters on my books.
You're right.
And if you said to me today, which one would I put forward first, it would probably be Sean, because Dean's recently changed trainers from Barry to Gary Logan.
Yeah.
And therefore, because Sean's got a settled trainer base, it'd probably be him first.
Down with Terry Stewart.
Probably say Dean, and Dean could wait a little bit longer. So that would be, and the question that I've also been asked is, would we match them together for Craig at Fight Talk? And the answer to that is no. I'd rather fight somebody non-Goodwin boxer.
You need a big title to...
Yeah, and also I'd much rather... I don't want our fighters fighting each other if they have to, because I don't enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it when my fighters fight for a title against somebody else.
Yeah,
much better for me.
I always cite the K. Prosper Rakeem Noble fight.
Oh, it's horrific.
One that you didn't want to sit and watch.
Same-
Saw K Saturday night as well.
I didn't catch him, but you know, I mean, again, I don't want to watch Dion Jim and Jose Lopez. Don't want to watch it.
I do.
I know you do, but I do.
Lee at last star. I hope you're well, Lee. I know he's been having some
He's
health
been poorly,
problems.
hasn't he?
So all the best, Lee. Does it piss you off when you see numbers being reported in the press or on social media that paint your fighter in a bad light? We saw another story yesterday that gave the wrong impression. So I went back and clarified. This was about the BBC article, I think.
Oh, is that the article that I saw about somebody that sold £8,500 of tickets?
Yeah, that's the one.
We don't. Our fighters would not earn that little.
So I think the figures were as a basic salary of
900 quid.
900
but
quid.
They've still got to sell. Trust me, you can't just get paid 900 quid and not sell a ticket.
Yeah.
If they don't sell a ticket, they get pulled off. It was 900 quid and
Plus
then
10% commission.
Well, all I can say is a Goodwin fighter that sells 8,500 tickets would not earn anywhere near as low.
That's not the model you
That's
employ.
not the model, because I don't think it's... If that's really truthfully the model, then I think that a promoter that does it should be very embarrassed.
Yeah, I was amazed when I read it that...
If it's true.
Yeah, I mean, if it's true. I was amazed when I read it that it would be published. A, because giving out the confidential elements of what
Of a contract.
Contracts are. But B, it seemed so bad because I have an understanding of what the model is as a standard one for a
But
boxer.
you know, before I came into boxing, do you know that the average commission was only 10 or 20%?
Yeah.
So when I came in, this was normal. It was I've said this before. We introduced this 50% commission model, and it was us that did it, and everybody else has been forced to follow. So boxers around the UK, in London specifically, do have us to thank for because I'm telling you, it'll still be 10 or 20% if we're going to come into boxing,
Yeah.
and nobody realises that.
Another one from Lee. How would you manage Ben or Yard? We see the hype around them, but finding people that doesn't match the hype. You have some great prospects. Would you let them be promoted in the same way if one of the TV promoters wanted to sign them early doors?
Well, I think they've been promoted well. I think, forget the thing about, the issue is, you've took Conor Benn, who I don't think is that great, okay? He's been marketed well, and he's been put in fights that he can win, but he's not fighting anybody, like an Adrian Martin's desperate for that fight. He's not fighting people that really can beat him. And so therefore they've managed him well in keeping him undefeated.
Although they nearly did beat him.
With a bit of help. I think Bob Williams had an off night.
Yeah.
So I think you've got to say that in terms of building up a fighter, they've done a good job. Anthony Yard, it's just the bullshit that goes with the that has in the past gone with it all. I think Anthony Yard is a top prospect. I think they've matched him well. I think. But what annoys me is when, like, Frank will say, well, I want Boatsy to fight Burton and we'll fight the winner. What's that all about? You know, what they're saying, they don't want to fight these people. But rather than say that, they're just carrying with this rhetoric, and it's not, that's what's wrong. The actual way they've handled Anthony Yard's career and the opponents they put him in with, I think have done a first-class job.
Yeah.
It's just the rhetoric that's causing the problem.
Absolutely. I mean, again, Yard's somebody that comes with a very limited amateur background, but has been taking these learning fights. Absolutely fine. Put him further down the priority list and cut the bullshit that goes with it, and that's a good bit of career management and guidance.
They do a good job building fighters.
John Bailey. Has Steve ever come close to walking away from the sport?
Yes. Several times. You know that.
I can confirm that's true. Also, and I hope this isn't meant in the way that it kind of comes across, did Steve have a wry smile when Natasha Jones was stopped? Which I think you've answered that before,
No.
which is absolutely not.
She's got a young child at home. She's trying to strive for a better life. So no, I was gutted for her that she got stopped. It's not like that. It's just not like that.
Second part of that, do you think she subsequently regretted leaving you now she's left Joe Gallagher's management for MTK?
Probably not. Probably not. I think you don't know what's going on there. Hosea Burton has left Joe Gallagher as well. you don't know what everybody's up. You just don't know, and I think I'll leave it there.
But I think the headline is no. There was no happiness out of seeing Natasha.
And I don't. The fact she's gone from Joe Gallagher to MTK, I don't really care.
Yeah, it's not your issue anymore.
I don't care. I've got no interest in it. It's irrelevant.
Yeah. Question from Beyond the Ropes podcast. Reminder: go and look at their Twitter. Find out about their event they're showing with the Rocky film. Tom Little's going to be there. Spencer Fear on Mark Prince, all in aid of the Kind Prince charity. So go and check out their Twitter. I'm not sure what answer we're going to get out of this. How honest are journeymen? I've seen a few turn up and appear to be knowing they could win, but back off and take the loss.
Different journeymen at different times do different things. So I think a journeyman sometimes, if they've got fights 3 weeks in a row, they're probably thinking, if I go in a warrior and get stopped, I'm going to lose 2 more paydays. So I think sometimes they're thinking of preservation rather than winning. They don't care about winning. Other times, the same journeyman will come out and try his utmost to win, and sometimes get a win. So I think it depends on them individually, and I think the same journeyman that one who's got 4 fights lined up doesn't really, probably only is bothered to try on the 4th one. Sometimes doesn't really. I'm not saying they wouldn't win, but they're not trying to win. They're just trying to make sure they get through the rounds. And I think that's being honest. It's a
really frustrating thing sometimes as a fan. William Warburton takes a prime example. He's fighting Sam Gilley on Saturday night. Now William Warburton stopped Aaron Morgan. He's beaten Jason Wellborn, the current British champion. All these things, and then with Sam Gilley on Saturday night, he clearly had the brakes on. Like he was being smart, but he wasn't putting it on Sam, apart from for maybe about a minute burst of 1 round, where he really didn't have a massive go at him, but he gave Sam something to think about. But when he sat there over a 6-rounder, you're kind of thinking, I want you to do what I know you can do. Even if it's for 1 round, you don't have to do it through 6 rounds. And it is quite frustrating sometimes as a fan, but to that end, there's always the story, the myth, the idea, I don't know if it's a myth or not, about journeymen won't necessarily go all out, because if they do, their phone stops ringing. As a manager, as a promoter, is that true?
Well, Phil Williams, my heavyweight journeyman, went out and chinned somebody at the beginning of this month and knocked him out in a round. Phone's still ringing.
Yeah.
Because what will happen is, what people have got to remember, this is a fallacy now. There are so few journeymen in the UK. You've got to use them. So even if all my journeymen go to try to win, because if you win, it's great. Because you get the board off your back. Your career prolongs itself. This is all a fallacy now, because journeymen are. It's so desperate for journeymen here, and even when you go abroad now, there's so few journeymen everywhere that it's hard to get the match. So journeymen now are. It's not like that because there's so few of them. So I think you can go out and win. However, some journeymen seems to still be all they're bothered about is
getting through the rounds.
Getting through the rounds and not making, and that's real. Anybody that says that doesn't happen would be lying, and it'd be falsehood. So you've got that. There are people there that, but different times, different people, different dates. You can watch a show, and a journeyman's coming out and giving everything. Like Kevin McCauley against Tony Burns last week, right? He gave everything to try and win that fight. And this week, Georgie Georgiev came out and chinned Prince Brady in 1 round. So they are trying. We've got Moravec, who fought Adrian Martin. He tried his hardest to win. So it's wrong. You do get situations, and I think it depends on their psyche on that moment. But I think all journeymen should try to win, because I don't think that a home fighter gets anything if the other guy is not doing his best to try and win.
I mean, William Warburton one is no disrespect to William at all. I have a lot of time for William, and he always comes and sits down and has a chat afterwards, and really nice bloke. I say, just sometimes you think, go on, just for 1 round, go out and have a go. Another question from Lee. The November 17th card is looking big. How would that get on TV? Would you have to sell it to Box Nation, etc., or would they make you an offer?
TV companies, we're not interested in TV companies that are not paying rights fees.
So ones that would split a production cost, or
they make you pay production cost, or whatever, or they pay something like that. Now, Box Nation, without knowing, is not the same model that it was a year ago. I cannot imagine they're paying rights fee. I don't know. I'd be surprised if they're paying any rights fees. So I would imagine that the promoter there is bankrolling it. The promoter's got it, is bankrolling it. Well, that's okay if you've got unlimited supplies of money, you just want to bankroll it, but as a business model, it doesn't work long term. I might be wrong, and they may be giving rights fees, I might be wrong. But from my point of view at the moment, promoters, the TV stations are not giving out massive rights fees. So why would I give the card away for free? Doesn't make any business sense.
Yeah.
It's not there for people to sit home and watch. We've had this before. I don't get at the moment people putting up their fights on YouTube, because all that happens is boxers' ticket sales fall.
Yeah.
And it does. And
until you get that financial model right, whereby there's a supporting bottom line figure from the streaming process, it just seems like madness.
And whatever happens, the boxers are poorer because of it.
Yeah.
Trust me, whatever they earn, if they earn £1,400, they should have earned 17. If they earn 2, they should have earned 2.5.
Yeah.
All you're doing is, for an image of the promoter, is depriving the boxers of money, in my opinion.
Question from Andrew Fairley. How you doing, Andrew? I hope you're really well. Top writer down in Portsmouth, supports all the Portsmouth boxers.
He's a great guy.
Lovely bloke, Andrew. And does some really, really good things behind the scenes as well that people want to know about. A terrific signing in Anelle Massey this week. How does Steve rate her as a prospect, and how far does he think she can go?
I think she's a very good prospect. To answer the question of how far do I think she can go, you're not going to know that until she starts fighting as a professional. Every single fighter you can see go, I think they're going to be world champion, European champion. But let's be real, you get some top class amateurs who are rubbish professionals, or don't make. Tom Stalker was one. And when I say rubbish, he was way below his amateur level as a.
Yeah, it wasn't comparable.
So rubbish. I'll take that back. I don't mean he's rubbish, because he was a competent fighter, but he just did not stand up. And you get other amateurs, Anthony Yard, who did not do anything decoratively as an amateur, but looks to be far better as a professional.
Look at Triple G Canelo.
Yeah,
You got one who turned pro at 15, one who was an Olympian.
So therefore, we don't know. When Anelle turns pro, I always say to a boxer, they say to me, do you want to see my footage of an amateur? Not particularly. I want to see you in the ring on your debut, because that particular fight, watching you go through the professional steps, is what's going to tell us where we are. Yeah. And the thing is, all I know is, and I'll say this now, I will take her as far as her ability allows her to be taken.
And also, I think the sport of women's boxing is still something that's settling down in this country. We know what the top level is in Katie Taylor, but we don't really understand too much underneath that.
No, exactly. See, well, everybody's learning.
Yeah.
But again, my job is, as I said before, when we talk about managers, is that will I take the boxer to the highest level they can, and I will always do that. But yeah, I could sit here today, and I'll never do it, and pinpoint so many managers individually where they've ruined boxers' careers by them not going to the highest level they can.
Yeah, but there's some great women talent out there. Stacey Copeland picking up the Commonwealth.
Yeah, Paul Speake's done a great job of her.
Yeah,
manager.
fantastic.
Paul Speake is a really good manager, by the way. He's a top manager.
Yeah, and then Nicola and
yeah.
Chantel Cameron's one of my favourites.
She's great to watch.
I enjoy watching her. And Sam Smith, who fought for the Commonwealth. There's so many. It's great to see it coming through as a sport. And I know Andrew, because he's writing a book about it at the moment, about women's boxing. He's got a real vested interest in it. That we touched on earlier, that I said we'd come back to. Ramez Mahmood, hope you're well, Ramez, the mathematician, managed by your friend Mickey and Moo. And apologies, I keep missing your fights, Ramez. We need to sync our diaries. Which will be your biggest show of the year, in your opinion, on paper? October, November, or December? Which you've got the big cards lined up.
Do you know what? They're all so good.
It says cracking end of the year.
Do you know what? They're all so good. And
so let's give a quick run through then of what we're potentially looking at, or what's in the diary at the moment.
So for October the 13th, K Prosper Danny Connor. Oh, there is some news from Connor. K Prosper Danny Connor for an English super lightweight eliminator, which the board have now announced will the winner fight Sam Amaze and go straight out to Perth.
So it's final.
So it's basically a final now.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic for both of them.
What would happen in that scenario if either of the lads got injured?
I would hope. I said to Danny Connor on Saturday, he said, everybody's saying I'm going to pull out. If Danny Connor pulls out, then I'll be asking the board that because of this, that Kay should be put straight forward. Okay. I don't want to be hanging around for Danny again if he doesn't make it.
Yeah.
But Danny's got, because there's been enough notice here. He says he'll definitely be there, so great. And if the winner will then go forward and fight Sam Amazon, which is fantastic. So we got that fight on that card. We've got the Dion Juma Jose Lopez fight on that card. We've got Curtis Felix, Justin Menzie on that card.
One of my favourite lads to watch. He's never going to be a world title holder, Justin Menzie.
You like watching him?
I love watching him. He's just, you can see the passion when he gets into the ring of how much he wants to win. With some lads, I think they're missing that. They might have all the technical ability in the world, but without that passion to win, there's something not quite there. Justin hasn't got all the technical ability in the world, but he's got the passion to go out and do it.
And then you've got Jamani Camiro, Jeffrey Forty.
Love that fight.
4 top of the bills. Unbelievable. All 10-round fights, all title fights, eliminators. You've now got.
And I'm not there.
You've got two Southern Areas, an English final eliminator, and a Southern Area eliminator. It's an amazing show. So that's then.
Yeah.
The 17th of November, we have Wadi Camacho, Arfan Iqbal, Commonwealth title.
Cracking fight.
Michael Ramabalatsa, Ryan Walker, English Super Bantamweight title. And we also have.
While you think of it, I'll say I was chatting with Wadi on Saturday, and he's been up sparring with Tony Bellew, because Usyk's a southpaw, Wadi's a southpaw, and I know they've done work before, but he was so confident, Wadi, in the fact that he feels like him and Terry are just Terry Coulter taking things onto a different level right now. He is super confident going into that fight, which...
So's Arfan.
Yeah, I said, don't get me wrong, I'm sure Arfan...
They both are.
But yeah, Wadi is different than what I've seen him before.
Yeah, so that's brilliant. I can't, you know, off the top of my head, I've had a brain freeze. I can't remember.
I bought you some time.
I can't remember, I still haven't been able to, because we've had so many juggling about, the dates have been changed, and I'm going to remember it as soon as I go off air. And then 1st of December, so far, we've got Miles Shinkwin, Joel McIntyre, English title. We've got Jordan Joseph, Darryl Church, Fight Cup semi-final.
The rematch.
We've got the rematch. We've potentially got the fight that we're trying to get signed up now.
Yep.
And we've potentially got 2 more title fights to add.
Yeah.
Potentially on the 1st December. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks that'll all be signed, sealed, and delivered.
Lovely.
But they are just 3 amazing cards.
Is Ramez on any of them?
Mickey hasn't rung and put him on. The problem is now the big shows are full.
Oh.
So for anybody that hasn't rung now, the big shows are full up.
There are other shows as well, aren't there?
We've got 24th of November that we will build, and we probably end up with a title fight on that as well.
Yeah.
But the reason that the 24th is going to be quieter is I'm in Monaco with Frank Buglioni that weekend.
Yeah.
So consequently, I don't want my fighters in title fights.
People will be wondering what the fuck you're on about with that.
I know.
There you go.
Yeah, but we can worry about that another time. And the problem is I don't want my fighters in title fights if I'm not there.
Yeah.
They could be doing 4s and 6s and stuff like that, but I can't be having my fighters in
Also,
title
you've
fights.
got 3 big cards within the space of a month, is it? Ish.
And then we got the four lads in Ultimate Box on the 2nd of November as well. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
So it's a really amazing period of time coming up for all the Goodwin boxers.
John McCallum, John McIntyre, Darryl Church, Jordan Joseph.
And it's still peeing me off that off the top of my head. I can't remember that third fight on the 17th of November, but it will come to me.
Interesting news coming out over the last couple of days about John McCallum teaming up with Leon McKenzie as his trainer. We were just discussing it earlier. Like, Leon is a bigger man than I am after maybe what's gone on in the past, and some of the things that have been said. I know there were, some things out of context and time has settled and all that, but fair play to both.
But do you know what? It could be a little dream team.
It could be, because who knows John's flaws better than Leon, who's the only person to have beaten him. And if that clicks and if that works, that could be a really good pairing.
Aussie Jervier, Danny Cousins.
There you go. We found
17th
it.
of November.
It's in there somewhere.
This final eliminator for the Southern. Now what?
Yeah.
What shows?
Yeah.
Anyway,
so tickets can be bought for all those shows now.
Yeah,
can't
they can be bought now. MyFightTickets.com. I've got tickets for all those shows, and I promise you, and I'm not that they're all going to sell out. So don't expect to buy tickets at the door for those shows. Final
question. We've probably just hit all of that, to be honest, but I'll ask it anyway. Daniel Smith. 4 shows are currently listed on the website: 6th and 13th of October, 17th, 24th of November. What or how many shows or other dates are lined up before the end of the year?
We've got the 1st of December. And there is a possibility of one more show.
Okay. December one or?
Probably December.
Yeah.
But we haven't done it yet because we want to see where other shows are landing. But there's a possibility of another show in December. Okay.
So that's all the questions. Thank you so much to everyone who's fired those in.
And there's been a lot of good lot of feedback and questions this week.
Yeah, a lot of interaction, and
which is what you want. And
yeah.
I've tried to answer every question I could. There are some you can't really answer about other people's fighters. You can't, because it's
fair enough,
disrespectful to them. But anything that I can answer, I will.
Yeah. So thank you to everyone who sent them in. More like Craig's. You know, Craig's a challenging question.
That was a brilliant question. And you know what? That's what I like. I love the questions that are really...
I said that to him because he'd actually text me going, do you think that's all right? I said, Steve prefers the ones he can get his teeth into and tackle what maybe a perceived...
Because I actually think, if any of you out there think about something you think that we're doing wrong, or something like what Craig has written there, then question, because I might turn around and go, yeah, you're right. And I might actually be able to say, hold on a minute, if you look at it from a wider context, it's not actually how it is. Do you know, but that thing about us is actually not borne out by the fights.
Yeah.
It's just not true.
There you go.
There we go.
So thank you to everyone who's watched, everyone who's contributed, everyone who gets tickets to the shows from the fighters. Go to the fighters for tickets, remember that.
But if you haven't been to the shows, these shows you must go and see. These are unbelievable shows for small hall boxing. These are the creme de la creme of small hall shows coming up.
Agreed. Right, thank you very much for your time. We'll be back next week and we'll see you then.